Thank you, Lovey. So if you have been making money before, or you've been making money in your business, but you can't seem to go past that like 100K mark, or you're in a space where maybe you've hit maybe like 50 or something like that, and you can't seem to get to that 100K mark or beyond that. We're going to talk a little bit about that today, and why your body is fighting your bank account, and how much your nervous system has to do with you bringing in money. Okay, so we're going to talk quite a bit about that today. I'm going to give it a few minutes for a few more people to come in. Make sure you share this with somebody who is in business. Share this with someone who feels like they are capped. Okay, when it comes down to their money, they feel like they're capped. They feel like they've gotten to a space where it's like, oh my God, I can't seem to get past this amount. Whether this is in business, for those, let me introduce myself first. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Elle Antoinette. I'm a psychological identity strategist, and what I do specifically is that I'm here to restore internal order, so that money, relationships, leadership, power, all of those great things naturally organize for high capacity women. High capacity women are your women who are extremely, they've been very hardworking. They're probably like the one in their family. They've done all these things and yada, yada, yada. And so everyone kind of depends on them, and they just know how to get things done. But they're often very much so the forgotten person in the family, the person that is overlooked, the person that's like, oh, she's fine, I don't have to really worry about her. Yeah, I'm really, really, really talking to her. That's my ideal client. And so when she comes to get ready to work with me, she's ready to release herself from all of these titles, release herself from all of these things that people have, kind of just made her responsible for, and that she feels like she's responsible for. So this looks like your family managers, your oldest daughters, and all of these things, okay? And so in order for you to expand, thank you, Lovey, in order for you to expand the way that you want to expand, we have to address some things. So if you're wanting to quantum jump, okay, if you're wanting to quantum jump from 50,000 to 100,000 in your business, which really should be more. Really, if you want to quantum jump from 100,000 into the multi six figures, and you want to make multi six figures this year in your business because you need options, or you have options, get on in here, because we're going to talk about it today. Okay, so come on in. Make sure that you share this with another amazing woman who has hit a cap, who's hit like a plateau, because we need to address that. Okay, so as you're receiving value and different things like that, I have a goal where I would like this live to get to about 15,000 likes. So that is my goal. So I want you to keep that in mind. So if you are receiving value, be sure to hit the heart button for me to let me know that this is resonating with you. But put a 1 in the comments first to let me know that you can hear me clearly, okay? And for those who are asking, like, okay, so how are you qualified to teach on this, yada, yada, yada. Well, like I said, I'm a psychological identity strategist. I built a multi six-figure business from the ground up without hustling. I've supported my clients in being able to bring in more capital and to position themselves to be able to receive in the areas of revenue, to magnetize better health, as well as magnetize better relationships with the feminine and with the masculine. So the number one result that women get when they come to work with me is they make more money. They make more money, okay? Second thing is they get healthier. They end up losing weight, quite a bit of them, okay? The third thing is that they tend to have better relationships with the masculine, and they're able to create better community with the feminine, okay? So those are the top 3 major results that I get from my clients. And today we're going to be talking about the 100K ceiling, why your body is literally fighting your bank account. So if you find yourself in a space where you just kind of hit this ceiling, you can't seem to go past it financially in your business, you can't seem to just like get beyond, we're going to get into that today, because your body has a lot to do with it, specifically your nervous system. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. And like I said, I am going for a goal of 15,000 likes on this particular video. So if you are on TikTok and you're receiving value, make sure that you heart the live. If you are watching this later on YouTube, then I would like you to like the live if you receive value, okay? And let me know in the comments what resonated the most. I am going to answer questions, but I'm going to answer questions towards the end. So give me some time, because what I'm basically teaching you, hi Chicago, hi Indiana, what I'm basically teaching you is how to use psychobiology to quantum jump into a new tax bracket. Okay? So if that is something that you want to know how to do, then you are in the right spot. All right. So again, what do? I restore internal order so that power, money, leadership, and relationships organize naturally for high capacity women. Okay. Most of the time, high capacity women have to build these things or fix these things or be the person who's always in charge of these things, and things don't organize naturally, which is why they don't tend to work or stick. Okay. And so I support them so that they're able to sustain the things that they're wanting. Okay. If you have a business that's multi six figures, you want to sustain it. If you have a relationship that's healthy, you want to sustain it. If you are working in a career that's high level, you want to be able to sustain it. And in order to sustain anything outside of yourself, you have to first make decisions to sustain yourself. So self-preservation is going to be very key. Self-care is very key. Self-respect, self-worth, self-value, understanding all of these things are extremely, extremely key. Okay. So before I get into it, I'm going to tell you there are 3 key things that are going to be very important in this process before you can even consider the information that I'm giving you today. Okay. If you want to thrive as a woman in this society, especially in 2026 right now where we are and going forward because of the era that we just entered into. Thank you, my love, for these loves. The issue at hand is that you're going to have to know spiritual law in order for you to create your reality. That's number 1. Okay. Yes, there are evil people in the world who are getting money. Yes, there are people in the world who are not evil who are getting money. The reality of the situation is you need money because you need options. I don't know if you're paying attention, but they're slowly but surely stripping freedom rights of yours. They're undoing things. Okay, this is being done for a reason. You need capital. You need more capital coming in. So you need to expand. Okay, because inflation is going up and all these different things are happening and you need capital. You don't have time to make excuses. You don't have time to be like, oh my God, they're doing us wrong. You know how to make money. See, I'm not talking to the people who know how to make money. So let me be real clear first and foremost and tell you who I'm talking to, just in case there's anybody in the room who needs to leave the room, okay? And if there's anybody that's not in the room, you need to share this with them, go ahead and share this with them. So let me tell you, before I start, let me go ahead and get clear. This live is not for beginners. I no longer teach, how to make money. I don't teach that because it's very easy to make money, right? And if you're not making money, that means that you haven't dealt with your attachments. And if you need to deal with your attachments, I strongly suggest you click the link in my bio and check out Love in the Nervous System. It will not only teach you how to deal with your attachments in regard to men, it would also teach you how to deal with your attachments in regard to money. Because in Love in the Nervous System, you learn how to attract safety and healthy masculine. And money is masculine. Okay? So a lot of women go into the course. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. And they're thinking, oh my God, yeah, keep attracting the same man. We're gonna deal with your money. See, that's the top thing. We're dealing with your money. When you know how to deal with your money, your attachments to money, you know how to deal with your attachments to men. Okay? So if you need that, go over there. I'm not talking to beginners. I'm not talking to you if you've never made money. I'm not talking to you if you're looking for a breakthrough. I'm not talking to you if you're looking for motivation or hustle tips. I am not the girl for you. This is not your room. And I just want to be honest with you before you sit here and start listening to me break down stuff that you may not even be able to see past. Because here's the truth. When people are in the mode to where they cannot see past, or they have to, in their mind, like, I have to pay this, I have to take care of that, they're still operating in a lack mindset. And we're in a time frame now, I'm going to be really honest with you. We're in a time frame right now where mindset is over with. You have to jump into actually being. You have to jump into action. You have to be in a space where, like, nobody has time to convince you. Like, that is so the age of what we just left, which was the age of water. Everything was about your emotions. Everything is about your feelings. We are in the age of air now, where everything is being exposed. You are either going to be exposed or you're going to embody the truth of who you are. Okay? So I'm talking to the women who have already made money, that know how to make money, okay? And who know, here's the key thing. I'm talking to the women who have already made money, but know that they should be, know that they should be making more money. I'm talking to the women who have already made money, but they know deep down that they should be making a whole lot more money, okay? And let me explain the 3 levels of money really quick so we can grasp this understanding so you can kind of get clarity. Because I never said you had to be rich. I said you have to have already made money. You know how to make money. So you understand that the big deal is not making money, because here's what I need you to grasp. There's 3 levels of making money before I go back to the spiritual law. Number 1, there's getting money. Anybody can get money. If I asked you for $20, that's getting money. If you work a 2-week job, that's getting money. If you rob somebody, that's you're getting their money, right? So there's no glory in getting money, okay? So that's the first level of money. The second level of money is, hoarding money, where you hold on to money. Maybe you grew up in poverty, right? And so you're very concerned about going back to that. So you have to have a certain amount of money in your account. You have to have this, like you have to have that. And so because you hold on to it so tight, you don't leave room to receive anything. So you don't sow anything. And the key to receiving something is to sow something. Okay, so in order for you to receive, you must sow. So if you're holding on to money so tight, this is why money doesn't stick with you, because something ends up happening and the money is snatched from you. The money is literally snatched from you. You have a problem that comes up because you're trying to hold on to it. You literally are idolizing this amount of money and holding it to where you cannot grow, you cannot expand, you cannot come up. Meanwhile, the money is being moved all over your head. Okay, and so a lot of people think that they're saving money, but in reality, they're being hoarders of money, which is blocking them from actually receiving more money. So then you go into people who understand the principle of sowing and reaping. Okay, and these are people who understand that when they get money, they give, they invest, and they do it cheerfully, because they understand to be a cheerful giver is really important, because they understand it's better to give than to receive. Why is it so important to give to give instead of receiving? If you are giving value, you're always going to receive according to the law of sowing and reaping. Whatever a man, woman sows, you shall reap. So whatever you sow into this universal algorithm, you're going to reap. So if you sow value, you're going to reap value. If you make a decision to invest in something, or you even you give some money to someone who may need it at this time, and let's just say they're saying that they're going to borrow it from you, which I don't believe in the concept of borrowing, you know what I'm saying? I just believe in the concept of sowing into good ground, right? You either sow into good ground or you're not sowing into good ground. And so when you are sowing, you're always going to receive. Just because I let you borrow this money, something can happen and you cannot be able to give me the money back from when you said that you can give it to me, right? I'm not going to get upset with you because you can't give me that money back, because number one, I only give as a cheerful giver. I don't give from my last. If I don't have it, I don't have it to give. And see, that's the thing. I don't give with an outcome or an attachment, because I understand that that money is going to come back to me. So whether I get it from you or it comes from somewhere else, or someone buys something happened, that increase is still going to come back to me according to the law of sowing and reaping. So this is why, thank you, my love, for these likes. This is why it's so important for you to sow. This is why it's so important for you to sow, okay? And then when you're sitting at the level where you're holding, that's why it doesn't work for you. A woman that's always sowing is always reaping. Remember that. And that can be good, bad, ugly, and different. If you don't like what's sold in your life, you don't like it, okay? You don't like what you're reaping, then we need to address what you've been sowing into your quality of life experience. Because this whole thing of life is one big algorithm. It's only what you like and what you engage is what shows up on your For You page. That shows up as results. Like this is what this is. Hi, love you. This is what this is. Okay? So again, this room is not for beginners. It's not for people looking for motivational tips. It's not for you looking for your breakthrough hustle tips. This is not your room. I'm talking to women who have made money, but who understand that they should be making more money. And they know this, but they don't really know what's going on, what's blocking them, what's stopping them from getting rid of the invisible ceiling. You know, they've hit this 100K mark and it's like, okay, cool. And this is what I try to explain to people so they can break the 100K spell. You know, the 100K cycle. And I'm gonna tell you something seriously. The 100K spell is a mixture of, hold on, before I do that, let me tell you these last two things. Understand spiritual law so you can create your own reality. Understand the science of yourself so that you can understand the dynamics of the masculine and you know how to interact. And then also study the generational history of your lineage, the women that came before you. I'm sorry, y'all, they couldn't grass. The women that came before you, so you can catch the loops and the voids so you don't repeat them. So you really break generational curses for real. Because a lot of you think breaking generational curses is making more money, and that wasn't it. The curse of your family may have been low self-esteem. Okay? And this is something that you really have to start paying attention to because it's very important. So let's go back to this 100K spell. Okay? So the 100K psychological spell started around 2020. And I'm just put this so you can kind of see what this is. So society, the media, the powers that be use two types of magic, right, to put society under spells and curses. And what that looks like is they will use psychological spell work, and they will use glamour magic. And glamour magic basically means to be able to bend perception. Makeup is a form of glamour magic, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, because glamour magic is nothing but bending perception. That's basically what it is. And so what society has done with that 100K psychological spell was in 2020, when everything was going on with the pandemic and everyone was at home, people were creating businesses and everyone was like, I got to hit 6 figures in my business. So that became the theme. You begin to see 6 figures, 6 figures, 6 figures, 6 figures, 6 figures, 6 figures. And so when people started to equate their value with whether or not they were making 6 figures or not. This is how this whole thing started. It literally started as a psychological spell and mixed in with some glamour magic, because I'm gonna tell you something, because a lot of people branded very well and they were doing lifestyle marketing in 2020 to like 2023 a little bit. They were doing a lot of lifestyle marketing. Thank you, Lovey. And one aspect of a lot of the lifestyle marketing that people were doing is that they were using glamour magic. They were making you think that they owned this car that they were leaning on. They made you think that, you know what I'm saying, this vacation that they were going on was something that wasn't that. You know, they were doing all these different things to bend your perception and to make you believe something that was not reality. Thank you, my love, for these likes and these gifts. So because of that glamour magic, because of that psychological spell of like, you are not worth anything unless you have hit this 6 figures, people started to equate like, I got to hit 6 figures. When I hit that 6 figure mark, I'm going to make it. And what has happened as a consequence of that, many people have done the work to make 6 figures and realize it's really not a lot of money. It's really not a lot of money. And that's the thing that a lot of people have been tricked. You've been tricked to work hard to come into a space to realize that it's still not a lot of money, especially if you are in business. Because once you pay your taxes, you pay your systems, you pay all these other things, you are not holding that. And people think that you are actually holding that. So that is how the 6 figure psychological spell literally happened. It started in 2020 when we were in the house and we were consuming everything. We had nothing to do but consume content. People were starting up businesses, and that became the thing. I got to hit 6 figures. I got to hit 6 figures. And so it literally became that. Okay. Child, I made 179 on my taxes and they thought I made a mistake. I realized it wasn't enough. This is why I'm telling people, and this is why I explain to people when they say on the taxes, you think about taxes, like this year, you need to be aiming for, if you are in business, you need to be aiming for $275,000 at minimum is what you need to be aiming for if you are a business owner. And if you are stuck where you like, oh my God, that sounds so big, this live is going to help you come through that, because you got to get in your body to receive this money. Alignment is so important in this process of breaking the $100,000 ceiling, okay? And the reason why I'm telling you that is because I want you to think about alignment like a baseball game. I need you to think about the catcher, okay? The catcher is the most important, one of the most important roles on the baseball diamond field, whatever you want to call it, right? The catcher has to be at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, okay? That is what alignment looks like, at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. Some of y'all are doing the right thing at the wrong place at the right time. None of those things can be off if you want to receive the ball. You understand? The catcher receives the ball by being in alignment. This is going to be very, very important theme throughout 2026. And when I'm speaking about alignment, I'm speaking about spiritual alignment, I'm speaking about mental alignment, I'm speaking about emotional alignment, which is going to position you to be in alignment physically. Because a healthy spirit, because and this is, I used to be 100 pounds heavier, and I'm telling you the truth. A healthy spirit, a healthy mind, and healthy emotions cannot thrive in a sick body. You have to do something different, because your spirit ain't going to be at rest. Your mind is not going to be at ease, and your emotions are going to be all over the place. When you get in sync and you get grounded in those spaces, that's how you start actually doing the work on your physical body. Okay? And I say this to you as someone, like I said, the top 3 results my clients get when they come to work with me, number 1 is they make more money. Number 2 is that they lose weight. I used to be 100 pounds heavier. One of my clients lost 90 pounds. Another one, the lowest she's lost has been 30. And I'm not a weight loss coach, but I understand energetics. I understand science. So everything I teach is rooted in scripture and backed up by science. The specific sciences that I focus on are psychobiology, physics, and chemistry, and a bit of biology as well, which make up us and how we operate. So it's very important, and some neuroscience. So it's really important to understand how things in your environment really impact your reality, because a lot of us have been under this spell, like you have to make 6 figures and do this and do that. And 6 figures, people are equating it to $100,000. It's not enough money. It's not enough money. So if you're ready to come out of that, like I said, I'm talking to the women who have already made money, but you know you need to be making more money. Like this sister said, I made $179,000. I'm looking at it like, whoa, this ain't enough. It's not enough. Everybody on this live, if you are, especially you in business, you need to be aiming for $275,000, and I'm talking net with that one. That's a minimum. That's a minimum. You really need to be going for 5 and beyond. And I'm so serious, and you can do this. I know that you probably are sitting in a space and you're like, oh my God, if you can, let me tell you something. If you can make 10,000, you can make 100,000. If you can make 100,000, you can make $1 million. The difference between 100,000 and $1 million are your systems, your marketing, your mirror work, your identity shifts. Okay? That's how you're going to get to that space. All right? So again, a lot of these women have had big months. You've had great momentum in business. And then you've had some stalls. You had something to stall. Same intelligence, same skill set, okay? Different outcome. This is not random. This is not random. This is your biology talking. When you hit a plateau, when it comes down to money, it's the exact same thing that happens when you hit a plateau when it comes down to weight. It's the exact same thing that happens when you have a plateau in your relationship. There has to be a pivot. There has to be a shift. There is something that needs to be corrected in order to get you back on track. Okay? So we have to move past this $100,000 psychological spell. That's not enough money. It's not enough money for what's going on and what's going to happen. Like, I'm so serious. Okay. So this is not random for you. Like I said, to have these big months and to have momentum, and, you know, you have the same intelligence, the same skill set, but the outcome is completely different. This is not random. This is biology. Let's go ahead and get into the real ceiling here. Okay. Your income is not capped by strategy. And I know you're thinking the first thing that we want to do as business owners, a lot of times we want to come into the space and say, oh my God, you know, I hit 20,000 this past month. And then right now I'm sitting at like 2,000. Like, I need to do this. Let me hurry up and put out a masterclass. Let me hurry up and discount my prices. Let me hurry up and do this. That is screaming, I need to pay the rent energy. That is screaming, I lack faith energy. That is screaming, I'm moving from desperation, and dollars are repelled by desperation energy. And if you don't believe me, think about the time you tried to hurry up and DM somebody to see if they wanted to buy in, and they could feel the energy of your desperation, so they left you on red. Okay? That's why they left you on red. Because they could feel that desperate energy of you needing to pay your bills instead of the energy of, I'm here to shift and change your life. I'm here to shift and change your life. That's not the energy you're bringing. That's why they're not buying. That's why they're leaving you on red. That's why they're ghosting you. Because they know that the energy is desperation. And the same reason the people in the DM ghost you are the same reasons that men ghost you. The exact same thing, because you're coming with your desperate energy, and desperation is dangerous. The decisions that are made out of desperation is so dangerous, it's so detrimental, it's so destructive that nobody wants to be a part of it, because it leads to some form of demise or destitution. Okay? So when you are in your mind and you are thinking, I need you to understand that the aspect of the dollars are connected to your energy. Okay? So let's go ahead and get straight into this. Your income is not capped by strategy. I know you think you need to do something else. You don't need to do anything else. Your income is capped by what your nervous system can handle. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. Your income is capped by what your nervous system can actually handle. You're not ready, nervous system wise, to hold $1 million contract. You don't give $1 million energy. And $1 million energy is not a look. It's the essence. It's a knowing. It's a being. It's the ability to be able to walk away from money that does not align with who you are. It's the ability to recognize experiences and connections that are for you, and properly being able to sustain those connections by simply being, not because you just have to do a multitude of things. Literally sitting in your feminine essence, because you are a literal product of feminine mastery, because you have integrated both. And I talked about this yesterday. Go check out the live on the video on YouTube, where I talked about how feminine mastery, the truth of feminine mastery, is regulation and result. But the only way for you to achieve feminine mastery is for you to understand feminine mysticism, as well as understanding feminine science, and integrating both of those so that you can become regulated and get the result. What I'm teaching you works in the area of making money, in the area of getting healthier, in the area of developing better connections, because those are my top 3 results. Those are my top 3 results. Women come to work with me in a space where they feel exhausted because they've had to be everybody's something, right? And they come to me and they realize that being everybody's something is what is exhausting them and blocking them from being able to make more money. Do you understand that a lot of you are blocking your blessings because the reason why you want to make money is because you want to take care of your family? Let's talk about that real quick. Some of you are so small-minded that your goal for being in business is for you to solely take care of your family, like your family is going to be here forever, like there is no legacy beyond your family. Your goals, your ideas, your desire, your legacy has to be bigger than anyone's life. What you're doing and what you're connected to has to be so much bigger than that. You're now taking care of your family with the salary that you were on. Now what? Some people are out here saying, well, I just want to make the money so I can buy my parents a house. What are you going to do when your parents pass away? If you are out here doing this work and it's real, and you're trying to really come past the cap of $100,000 in your business, your why has to be bigger than your people. Do you understand? Thank you, my love. Your why needs to be bigger than your own life. Because what are they going to say about you when you leave here? Because whether you all realize it or not, especially if you are participating in the social media experience, you are documenting your life. Your children's 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 children can have a video record of what you have done with your existence and what you have done with your life. Some of your money is capped at because you just want to take care of your family. So you only have enough money to take care of your family, and you are struggling like hell by putting yourself in a position that really isn't your responsibility, because everybody is grown and able. Like I said, your income is not capped by strategy. You know how to do things very well. Your income is capped by what your nervous system can handle. See, your nervous system can't handle your family saying you think you better than them because now you got more money and you got to set up different boundaries. See, your nervous system can't handle pissing people off because you're scared to lose people because you're a people pleaser. See, this is what I'm talking about when it comes down to the identity work that has to be done if you really want to quantum jump into a new tax bracket like you claim you do. Like you claim you do. Yes, you are going to shift. Yes, you are going to change. Yes, things are going to get different. Do you understand? They have to in order to protect you, in order to protect what it is that you are creating. We are in the creator economy. I told y'all 2 years ago that the creator economy had projected it to be like, I think 580 billion. Baby, it's way more than that now. Like I told you, the World Economic Forum stated that human creativity is an irreplaceable asset. This is why they want you doom scrolling. You so focused on everything and everybody else that you cannot quantum jump into your next tax bracket. Because your nervous system can't even handle it. Because you keep watching these videos where they talking about all this stuff is happening in the world and you're allowing society to program your nervous system. Society. Your nervous system can't handle it. That's why your money capped. That's why your money capped. That's why you have this 100K ceiling when 100K is literally the poverty line now. And money is the blood of your business, as my homegirl says. And some of y'all need transplants ASAP. Okay? So let's talk about money and how money operates and what we're looking like, right? Now, I've told you what money is attracted to. We already know that. We don't really necessarily need to go into money attraction because money is attracted to value, high vibrational state, okay? So these things are very, very important in alignment. That's what money is attracted to. If there's not alignment, if there's no value, if it doesn't feel good, it's not happening. And when you look at how you spend money, it's the exact same thing. If you about to buy something that you can put on, if it's not in alignment with the outfit or the idea, the vision that you had when you want to wear this outfit or what you want it to look like, you're not getting it. If it's the value ain't right for the product, you're not going to get it. If you don't feel good in it, you're not going to get it. It is the exact same thing. Money is attracted to that, right? And your nervous system is erect, so money is not attracted to a lot of you. That's why you can't jump up. A lot of you have been praying, asking God for an increase and all these different things, when in reality, your nervous system can't handle that. You're not doing the inner work to be able to receive that. You're not becoming the woman who manages that, who sustains that, which is why it won't fall into your hand. Okay? Money is regulated by what your body thinks is safe. Okay? When you hit a new income level, your brain does not see success. Your brain actually sees it as a risk. This is why a lot of you go into the space where you feel like you're going to fail, or you feel like you're scared when somebody drop big dollars in your hand. If somebody says they want to give you $100,000 contract right then and there, a lot of you, your hearts will drop in your stomach. Because you're not in position to receive. Your nervous system, the cap. Thank you, Lovey, for these follows and these gifts and these likes. The cap is what your nervous system can handle. And your nervous system can handle a lot. You hitting a brand new income level and your brain can't even see success. It sees risk like, oh my God, I'm about to mess this up. That's usually the thought, oh my God, I'm about to drop the ball. Oh my God, what if I fail? To your body, and I want you to understand this, to your body, a higher tax bracket feels like you're being exposed. Ooh. To your body, a higher tax bracket feels like you're being exposed because you don't believe that you really that girl, which means that you pretended to get that money. So let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk to because this happens a lot. I see a lot of women CEOs work like men, turn off their real personality, do all these different things to get to the top. And then guess what? They start cracking. You work so hard to get this position. Now you're in a position to actually do it. And you like this. Because you don't believe you're supposed to be there. You're actually surprised that you actually got this far. It's almost like lying on a resume and then showing up and getting a $250,000 job that you do not know how to do. Guess what you doing? This. You ain't that fast of a learner. It is the equivalent of that. It is the exact same thing. That is exactly what happens. To your body, a higher tax bracket feels like being exposed because you are being exposed because you don't believe that you really what you say. See, we got lover girls and women who are big-hearted working in male-dominated fields, and so they pretend and put on this code switching personality, and they put this on and they go into work and they're doing all of these things, and then they finally arrive and they can't handle the pressure of where they've been trying to get to all of this time, and so now they feel exposed and they get exposed. They get exposed. We are in the year of exposure. Y'all was cracking jokes talking about Cat Williams said, oh, it's this going on. Baby, let me tell you what's real. I'm going to tell you what God loves. As my good friends say, sweetheart, we are in the age of air. Everything's going to be exposed. If you fake and phony, you're going to get exposed. You're going to get it. People going to get exposed from the lowest level to the highest level, sweetheart. We about to know what time it is and what's really going on. In a lot of spaces. And you have to ask yourself, are you in position to receive? Are you going to be embodying this year, or are you going to be getting exposed? Because again, for a lot of you, to your body, a higher tax bracket literally feels like being exposed. That's why after a really, really big sale, or, you make a whole lot of money, you might do something like pick a fight or lose focus or feel tired or foggy or make weird decisions. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. That is not self-sabotage. That's your body trying to pull you back into familiar ground because you are the drama. Yeah. You are the drama. You are the drama in your own life. So what happens is when things are calm and things are going well and you are receiving, you have got to do something to pull you back into chaos, because that's what your nervous system knows, chaos. That's what your nervous system likes, chaos. That is the fuel of your nervous system, chaos. Okay? So that's just your body. A lot of y'all think y'all self-sabotaging. No, that's your body trying to return to its normal state, baby, of chaos. Because you have not done the work to retrain your nervous system and to reprogram your mind. So you thought making a bunch of money was going to help you become a better person? No. See, and this is what people need to understand when it comes down to money. And people are like, oh, you changed. You're acting different. People don't change when money comes into play. People show you what they would choose if they had money all along. Money exposes. Money, when you get money, you either embody or you get exposed. But you don't change. Oh, no. You don't change. Because it's a different level of hunger and decision-making that happens when you're at the bottom of the refrigerator, really small, looking in. You'll take whatever you can get because you're hungry. But when you grow up and you realize you can open the freezer and there's stuff on top of the refrigerator, you realize you have options. So you choose what you would have chosen had you had the option in the first place. Okay? So this is something that people really don't realize and they don't grasp when it comes down to money. A lot of this is not self-sabotage. It's literally your nervous system bringing you back to what is familiar, what feeds it. Okay? So think about it like this. If you've ever had a high revenue month followed up by burnout, if you've ever had money come in really, really fast, like made a whole lot of money, but things felt really chaotic, if you had success and it didn't last for you, okay? That's not a motivation problem. That's not a motivation problem. It's a nervous system problem, okay? High capacity women don't crash loudly. They're not going to get online and be like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. I'm so tired. Yada, 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 yada. They stall quietly. Those women stall quietly, and the stall, unbeknownst to them, is actually biological. This is why psychobiology is so important to study before you start studying neuroscience. I know y'all are so excited about neuroscience because y'all want to manifest. But what y'all not understanding is, beloved, if you knew psychobiology, you could manifest. Neuroscience is literally the icing. Psychobiology is the cake. No wonder why you're not getting filled, because you're just eating the icing on top. You need the cake. Psychobiology supports you in teaching you that. That's why in all of my products and my services and my programs, psychobiology is all up and through there. Everything I teach is rooted in scripture and backed up by science. Okay? The stall is biological, and a lot of women don't realize that. They think it's self-sabotage. But let's talk a little bit about ambition versus anxiety and what that kind of is looking like and how that impacts the woman that I'm talking about. For those of you who are just joining and coming in, I'm talking about the 100K internal ceiling and why your body is fighting your bank account. We are in the year of where you are either going to embody or you're going to be exposed. But if you are in business, you need to make at least 275 net. So that's who I'm talking to. I'm not talking to nobody who ain't never made no money. I'm talking to people who know how to make money, but know that they should be making more money, because this is what needs to happen, because you need options. Freedoms are being stripped away from you every day. You need options. And it does not include you going to do something else. It's about you positioning yourself to receive. A lot of you are still out here trying to prove yourself, like you working towards your first 100,000. You're trying to prove yourself to be the expert, like you're trying to earn your first 10,000. That's not what this is. This is about positioning yourself to receive, because you understand your value. You can articulate your value, which you can provide a value statement. You can provide a value proposition to corporations. Let me tell you something. The money is out there, and there's no excuse for you not to get it. I was having literally had a conversation 2 weeks ago with somebody about doing a training, right? I wanted to do a training. So the person was like, oh, and this is how I went. My old assistant who used to work for me recommended and said, yeah, I think that she should be able to do the training. We had the conversation and did it. I said that I wanted to do more trainings at the end of 2025 with corporations and different things like that. And then boom, I get a phone call. Hey, we actually want you to come in and do the training. That's an easy $8,500 to $9,500 for 8 hours. For 8 hours. Do you understand that I used to be a social worker? Hear me what I'm telling you. Let me tell you how society don't give no about us. I used to be a social worker. Anybody who knows me knows that I am passionate about children. I am passionate about families. I am passionate about women winning. I'm passionate about community, right? I do really good at building community. When I worked for the Department of Children's Services, my salary was, I think, $36,000 at the time. I was dealing with child neglect, child SA, child unalive. I was dealing with all of those things, carrying all of that stress, carrying all of that pain to the point to where I knew I had to leave, because I started becoming numb to the things. And this is what happens to healthcare professionals. It happens to social workers. It happens to all of these people. I was barely clearing $4,000 a month. Do you understand what I'm telling you? I was 100 pounds heavier. I was going bald in the center of my head. I was hating my relationships. I was hating my life. I was working 3 jobs. I was looking insane. And I was barely clearing $4K a month. And I was working so hard, okay? The thing that we have to understand is this. You have creative and witty inventions in your very being. So you had those things to be able to build up your business to where it is now. You can quantum jump into a new tax bracket by refining, understanding, being clear, articulating your value. I just told you it would have taken me 2.5 months to make, $9,500. It would have made it back then. It would have taken me 2.5 months to make $9,500. I told you I literally just closed a deal for between 85 to 95 for 8 hours of training. So when I tell you that there is money out there, you are sleeping on it. When I tell you the days of you proving yourself are over with, it's time for you to start articulating your value to the people who can pay you in the fullness. They can pay you to the max. But in order for you to receive that and for you to even come in community with that nervous system has to be grounded. Because if you are giving, let me tell you something when it comes down to business and business wanting to give you more money and contracts and things, right? So it's a lip gloss. It's it's actually right here, actually. It's an old lip gloss by MAC, Surreal Appeal. I used to work at MAC some years ago, and I know how to preserve. So they probably don't sell it anymore. But when it comes down to corporations and them giving you big money and different things like that, it's all about them not smelling. I want you to think about sharks, right? Or you think about Shark Tank, the show Shark Tank, right? The whole premise when you really, really think about Shark Tank is that they're sniffing out for blood. They're sniffing out for fresh blood, okay? At the same time, they don't want a sick shark. They don't want something or a sick fish. They don't want something that is going to put them in a position to where things are not going to work out properly. It's the same thing when it comes down to those corporations and those businesses that want to cut you checks, okay? Or cut you big corporate. They want to know that the energy is not desperate. They want to know that the energy is confident. And the only way you're going to present as confident in these meetings, in these experiences, is if you rewire and calm your nervous system. If you didn't grow up getting a whole bunch of money in your hands, stop acting like you know what to do with it if you would get it. And be real with yourself. Be real with yourself that you never touched that type of money before. Keep it real with yourself. Okay. And then start really seeking guidance on getting the proper support so you don't blow that money. Okay. So that you know how to manage it and steward it so that you can invest and actually have more. These corporations want to know that you can actually deliver and that you're confident in delivering. Okay. So that's going to be extremely, extremely important. So again, let's get into the ambition versus anxiety, because a lot of people go into these meetings or in these, in these connections with people and they're very anxious. And anxious, let me tell you something, anxiousness blocks money. And that's a block spiritually. And let me just tell you why, okay? To be anxious or to stay in a state of anxiousness to the point to where it develops into anxiety, into an anxiety attack, that means that your anxiety is rooted in one of two things: you not being able to control the outcome or fear of the unknown. Both of those things is you being attached to the outcome. Spiritually, especially if you claim to be a believer, you are not supposed to be attached to anything in this world. You are not supposed to be attached to anything in this world. I know y'all let attachment theory get y'all messed up. You are not supposed to be attached to anything in this world, because everything in this world has a expiration date. Everything in this world has an expiration date, including water. So you should not be attached to these things so much to where you fear losing them. Because you fear losing them creates some form of lack, like you ain't finna get it back. And women do this a lot when it comes down to relationships. You stay in relationships with people who disrespect you because you don't think you can do better. You don't believe that abundance is real. You don't believe that you have options. So you stay in spaces where you are disrespected and disregarded. You do it in business, and you do it in relationships, and you do it in life. Okay? Thank you, Lovey. So let's get straight into this. When money becomes, how can I say this? When money becomes steady, a dysregulated nervous system panics. When you start making quite a bit of money consistently, and you're not used to making quite a bit of money consistently, a big money, right? In business, where it's actually like pouring in, is consistent, and you're like, whoa, this is really real, this is happening. You panic. Let me tell you a story about how this happened one time. I had a client. She came to me, amazing client. She had home health experience and she had been doing it for 20 years. And so she was telling me that she was having meetings with people and she was meeting with them for 4 hours and teaching them how to set up these agencies for $250. What? That's me right there. Excuse me? $250. That's it. And you're saving them $20 and $50 and $75,000 in fees when the people come assess their facility. Excuse me? No, ma'am. So we're gonna raise that price up. We're gonna raise that price up. So let's raise that price to about $2,500 or $2,000. Okay. Which one feels comfortable? I think I said between 15. You can do 15, 2,000 or 25. And I think she said like the lowest number, and I pushed it to like 2,000 or 25 or something like that. And I said, I want you to come back and I want you to see me in 30 days because this is the new rate. Do you know 3 weeks in, she immediately came back and said, I've already made $8,000. She said, I made $8,000 and somebody just offered me $6,000 and I had to turn them down because it's way too much. You were right. The money is coming in way too fast. Da, 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 da. Then she said, I need systems. That nervous system wasn't ready. That nervous system wasn't ready. See, that's what I be saying. She said, I had to come back to you because the money was coming in too fast. And I was like, oh my God, this is real. It's very real. It's very real. And it's just like that, a shift, just like that. But the reality of the situation is you can bring in the money, but if you can't hold it, because that nervous system ain't where it needs to be, then you're going to blow it or you're going to burn out or you're going to do something. Because you're going to create the drama because you need the drama. You need the distraction of the fact like, oh my God, I hit my goal. What? And this doesn't just happen with money. It happens with weight loss. It happens with weight loss. If you've ever met a woman who's lost a whole bunch of weight, right? Or you are a woman who's lost a bunch of weight. I used to be 100 pounds heavier. One thing that tends to happen is if you're not ready for the attention that comes with that after you've lost the weight, it can be extremely overwhelming. It can be extremely overwhelming, especially if you have not done the internal work to allow your mind, your heart, and your spirit to catch up with your body. And this is what happens to a lot of women who get plastic surgery. A lot of women sometimes who would get plastic surgery really quickly trying to fix something. A lot of women who hurry up and lose weight to try to fix something, but they don't do the internal work spiritually, mentally, emotionally. They cannot sustain the physical shift and the physical change. It is the exact same thing. Their nervous system can't handle, girl, you look good. Because in their mind, they still see, thank you, Lovey, they still see their former self. This is why body dysmorphia is a very, very real thing. I'm telling you, the energy of body dysmorphia is the same energy that repels the money. All of it is rooted in your nervous system and how you retrain yourself. This is why I always say to everyone at every new level, there needs to be assessment. There needs to be things that are looked at and taken care of, which is why I do the work that I do. Because if you really want a quantum jump, you have to understand these things. You have to understand these things, okay? Do you have a course or a product on developing these systems? I do. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. So with the ambition versus anxiety, and why I was saying that anxiety in the state of it, sitting in it for a long period, is a spiritual violation because it's rooted in lack. And lack is the opposite of abundance, which is your birthright if you've walked into it. If you have not walked into your birthright, then you will always see lack, and that will continue to be your experience. And of course, if you are in a state of lack, like I don't have, of course you're going to be anxious. But it tells you in scripture to not be anxious for anything. Because why would you be anxious for anything if the Most High is really your supply, if that's really what you believe? See, this is what I was saying. Y'all be lying. Y'all don't really be believing. Y'all be knowing, but y'all don't be believing. This is why knowing means nothing when you're not taking action. You take action when there is belief. You go to work. For those of you who work in a setting and you have to go in, you go to work because you believe they're going to pay you. That's the only reason you're going there. So belief impacts biology, and biology influences the way you behave. And because you believe in lack, you are always in an anxious state, which does nothing but deplete your energy, and fuel it into society, because society is able to make you a slave, because now you're sick. Now you're sick. So not only do you have generalized anxiety disorder, but you also have IBS, which both of those things are literally rooted in stress and rooted in you trying to be able to you trying to be able to control the outcome, know the outcome, when in reality, you're supposed to be detached from the outcome, because what is yours is always going to find you when you're in alignment. Always. The ball will never miss you. The ball will never miss the catcher when the catcher is in the proper position to catch the ball. The question is, are you in position to receive? And a lot of you are not in position to receive. The nervous system is wrecked. Okay? It's wrecked. So like I said, when money becomes very steady, a dysregulated nervous system is always going to panic. It panics in the way of doing the following. It creates overthinking. It creates distraction. It creates drama. And this is not because you are weak or anything like that. It's literally because your body believes that chaos is home, because chaos is what you grew up with. And you never dealt with what you grew up with. Yeah, you went to therapy. Yeah, you talked about your emotions. You processed it, but you didn't get down to the real bottom of the map by actually addressing the pattern at hand. You didn't reset your emotional baseline so it makes it safe for you to be able to receive. You didn't do that work, sweetheart. You ain't really did it. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. You haven't done the real work. See, quantum jumping into a new tax bracket or moving ahead or another income bracket or income level, it requires you to assess the truth of your identity. It requires you to assess your relationships. It requires you to assess yourself. It requires you to do some inner work so you can sustain at this level. And this is why people start crashing when they get new roles. You didn't prepare for this role. A lot of you want to be wives and you're not prepared for that. You're not prepared for that. My God, you're not prepared for that. If you are not a woman who is romanticizing her own life currently, taking care of herself, very self-obsessed in the way of prioritizing her spiritual health, mental health, emotional health, physical health, social health, financial health before anything else, then sweetheart, you are not an energetic match to be out here and be a wife, because that's a whole different role. Do you understand what kind of energy you gonna need? Y'all out here saying y'all want to be wives and moms, and you can be, and you eat ice. See, now you out here saying you want to be a wife and you want to be a mom, and yet you won't get down to the bottom of why you keep eating that damn ice. You think it's a joke for you to have early organ failure due to your anemia. You think it's funny. You think it's funny. You think it's cute because they're making TikTok videos about it. That is premature organ failure. Do you understand that? That's not a joke. Do you understand how important iron is going to be to your baby? Iron so you can carry safely? See, we're not talking about the truth of, yes, doctors are not listening to us. Yes, we are losing our lives while we're giving birth, but we're not telling the truth that we're not healthy. We're not telling the truth that we're not healthy. We're not telling the truth that we are entering into relationships looking for relief and benefit when we don't relieve ourselves and we don't make sure we benefit in our own life. And you make that the responsibility of the man. And when he sees you as a burden, he don't want no parts. You want to call him broken. He ain't this, he ain't that. Girl, you ain't ready. You are not ready. And you have got to stop lying. And what are my credentials? I was married for 8 years. Marriage is for grown ass folks. And I'm just going to be honest with you. It's for grown folks. And to be grown takes a level of maturity. There are a lot of adults walking around here. You ain't got to do nothing but be 18 to be an adult. But it's not a lot of grown folks out here. And marriage is for grown folks. Because it's not about the faulty love that you think it is. The chaos that you love in men, the intensity and the drama is the same drama and issues you have of why you can't consistently collect the type of money you want to collect. That nervous system is trained to like chaos. It's It's trained to be attracted to the drama. Life a whole soap opera. You don't need to watch reality TV. Your life is reality TV because you're not dealing with yourself. So again, when money becomes steady, and this is even when I'll say when the masculine becomes steady in your life, because money is masculine. If a stable man and stable money that's really high value and all of this come into your life and your nervous system is dysregulated, you're going to panic. You're going to start overthinking. Do he really like me like that? Because why are you worried about him liking you anyway? Why do you like him? See, y'all do he really like me? Why? Why is that the focus? Do you like him? Do you like what you're doing and what you're being to be able to receive this money? Do you like that? Why is it about if something else or someone else likes you? This is when you start doing this overthinking because your nervous system is right. You start getting distracted. You start creating arguments and creating drama because, again, your body thinks that chaos is home. A lot of women think stress is their edge. It's not. It's not. It's actually, anxiety is a leak. Ambition, however, is clean. Okay? Right now, and I mean like right now, many of you are trying to grow your business while dragging a parachute behind you, a heavy parachute. Okay? So imagine how fast you'll move if the weight was gone. Imagine how faster you'd move if you wasn't carrying all that weight. Thank you. Okay? These are the things that we're not, anxiety, and I say this too, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on anxiety. But people, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on time travel, excuse me. But when you are in a state of consistent anxiety, it's because you time travel to the future too much. To a future that does not even exist yet. All based on what somebody told you or something that you may have believed that was not true. And so you spend your present, which is the most powerful time that you have to be able to sit and actually create a powerful future that you desire. You spend more time traveling to the future for something that has not happened. And you actually bring yourself closer to the detrimental future that you keep focusing on because you won't do anything different in the present, which is where you have the most power. People who tend to time travel to the past too much and get locked in there are often very depressed. People who time travel to the future too much are often in an anxious state. The only way for you to combat both of those is for you to understand time travel, which I'm not going to explain today, is to understand time travel for real and how much you can actually achieve by sitting in the present. I use an example about how you can slow down time. If you've ever been in a car wreck, you understand that right before you were about to hit the car or the car was about to hit you, time slowed down. Time slowed down. Everything you could see, everything that was happening, everything just kind of slowed down. That is how you can sit in that type of moment and create the future that you desire. Stop spending all that time worrying about what's going to happen and what happened in the past. What are you going to do in this present moment that's going to shift your reality? Okay? Because it's extremely important and very, very, very vital. I appreciate you addressing the hard issues. It helps highlight points of priority for me. Absolutely no problem. Okay? So let's get into the next space of what happens here of why, like, because the 100K aspect and the ceiling, the internal ceiling and all that. But let's talk about why your IQ as a woman tends to drop under stress. Now we go into the psychobiology of it a bit, okay? Here's the science in plain language, okay? When your body feels threatened by growth, your brain goes into survival mode, okay? Blood and oxygen leave the part of your brain that literally handles things like planning, strategy, and even smart decisions. They go to the part that handles survival. Those are two different aspects. Okay? Two different aspects. That is really a trip about bringing in the moment before accident. Yes. It happened to me. I've been in a couple. So I know it slows down time, but I also know how to meditate. I know how, when you know how to slow down and sit in time, you'll realize that time is a concept and you can actually bend time. Time is a concept. There's two elements of time, but I'm not gonna get into it. I have a fascination with time and physics, so I know it like the back of my hand. So, because I'm a nerd. But anyway, when your IQ drops under stress, like I said, the blood and oxygen leaves the part of your brain that literally supports you in making smart decisions, planning, strategy, and then it literally goes to the part of your brain that handles survival mode, which is a completely different area, okay? That means you literally start thinking with less capacity. You coming out of your body. So the thing is, you cannot mindset your way out of a body problem. And that's what a lot of people are trying to do with mindset work and neuroscience and different things like that. It's not going to work for you because you're not understanding that the issue is in your body, baby. Okay? So let's talk about the cost of ignoring this and why this is so important, especially if you want to surpass the ceiling of 100K in your business. Here's the real danger of it that a lot of people don't really see. Okay. First things first, is it's not that your income is going to crash, because some people are like, oh, well, I'm just going to get to zero or something like that. It's like, no, it's not about your income crashing. Your income's going to stall. But you know what's not going to stall? Inflation, them raising them prices, everything going up. You know it ain't going to stall. Them upcharging everything. None of that is going to stall, but your income is going to stall. So the money that you were making in that space, they may have felt like you could do a little something with. Now you're stretched. Now you're a bit stretched. And let me tell you the truth about stalling. Stalling is worse than failing. Stalling is worse than sitting on zero. Because if you stalling, that means you're not growing. Yeah, you sitting right here, but everything else is continuing to evolve and you're sitting right here. You're not falling to zero to where, you know, you could scratch it and start over and go to the bottom of the map. You're sitting right there in the center where you're not going anywhere. And I'm going to be honest with you. Because you keep working at a level that you have already passed, you keep trying to prove yourself, you keep trying to give discounts, you keep trying to overwork, you keep doing all this type of stuff. What I need you to understand is that in lower tax brackets, if you continue to sit in that space, the cost is always going to be labor. I'm going to say that again, okay? Because I need you to understand. In lower tax brackets, the cost is always going to be labor. That is why, hear me when I'm telling you, and let me put you on game in the corporation. The bottom people who are working, your entry-level workers, that's your labor. That's why they pay them the cheapest, because the lower tax bracket is for labor. This is how the country set this thing. This is how society set this up. So I'm not telling you something that's just like, and everything I'm telling you, feel free to go look it up yourself. I want you to. I think you should. I believe it's wise. You shouldn't just take anything that I tell you. You should go and read it for yourself. But the cost of staying in a lower tax bracket means that you're going to have to produce more. You have to produce more. It's more laborious. It's more laborious for you to sit right there. Why they telling you this is going up here, you got to do this. You want to sit right here, you're going to have to work harder to make that money. When you don't even have to do all of that, in higher tax brackets, the cost is regulation. That is how you quantum jump. You have to be able to regulate. The live that I did yesterday, I told you, 2026 is not going to be forgiving for the dysregulated woman. You ain't going to do well. You ain't going to do well in 2026. And there's going to be so many things that's happening around you, and you're going to be trying to figure out why you can't get access to it. Y'all, this year is going to fly by too. Watch what I'm telling you. Watch what I'm telling you. It's going to be a lot of things. A lot of people are going to get healthy this year. A lot of people are going to make a lot of money this year. A lot of people are going to connect in the proper communities and relationships that they're supposed to be in this year. But if you're not regulated, you're not going to be able to sustain that. You're not going to be able to do any of those things. In lower tax bracket, the cost is labor. In higher tax brackets, the cost is regulation. And right now, many of you who are stalling and sitting in that space are paying a dysregulation tax every single month. Every single month. The work that I am speaking of that has to be done in regard to your nervous system. This is not for people who are addicted to the hustle. Y'all, you can keep thinking you can work your way to wealth. Another another psychological spell that we were induced into, and this really hit for a lot of Black people, and it was a lot of other Black people that put us under this type of spell without giving the full context and energy and everything that's necessary behind it. All this generational wealth talk. All this generational wealth talk without explaining what generational wealth truly is outside of money is one of the most irresponsible things that could have been done when it comes down to our community. Because what it did, much like the Black Girl Magic era, is make you feel like you needed to work so much hard and stack all of these things so that you can build wealth. When in reality, the people who have so-called wealth on this earth, they did not work hard for it. They used you to do it. They use labor. They use labor. You understand? Slavery slick never ended. They just built a different system to house it. The corporate system. The medical system. The pipeline prison system. You thought you were free? To be free from the matrix is to understand the fullness of your value in yourself and to start creating from soul so you can buy your way out of the matrix. Because there is no such thing as you becoming successful and sustaining success in a system that is built for you to be a slave. That's why they retire you when you get old, because you can no longer work for them. Don't you understand that? They never cared. So all this protesting and advocating and all of that, it don't work. It don't work. You would have to shock their system. And a lot of you are too scary to shock the system, because it would cause you to stop and be uncomfortable for a second. That's why I say this work, beloved, is not for people addicted to the hustle, because they plan on icing y'all out. They want you to work to an early grave, to illness and sickness, and then deny you coverage on things and surgeries after they have positioned you to become sick. They never cared. You have to care and advocate for yourself. And you do that starting with your belief of your value. When you understand your value, you can articulate your value, and therefore you can be paid high level for the value that you provide. So again, this work is not for people addicted to the hustle. This work is not for people who confuse stress with productivity. This work is not for people who need chaos to feel alive. This is for women who want consistency. This is for women who want to scale. This is for women who want peace with power. Okay? And this is why I built emotional foundations to recalibrate your nervous system. Not to teach you how to make money, because you already know how to make money. I don't need to teach you that. You know how to make money. You don't know how to hold it. You don't know how to amplify it and sustain it without feeling like you need to do more work, when in reality, that's not it. That's not it. Foundations, emotional foundations, is going to reset your baseline. That's what it does. So it resets the baseline that your nervous system runs on. So if your nervous system runs on anxiety, imagine hitting a reset button. If it runs on chaos, imagine hitting a reset button, okay? So because it resets the baseline your nervous system sits on, the wealthiest women that I know, they don't work more hours. The wealthiest women that come to work with me, they don't work more hours. They make clearer decisions. They make cleaner decisions. And the thing about it is, when you're regulated, You don't need a 3-day pros and cons list. You see the move, you take the move. And foundations literally gives you back your decision speed, because I'm going to tell you something. In this year, you're going to have to make decisions like this. There is no room for the indecisive. Indecisive women are unregulated women, because regulated women know what time it is at all times, because it's always on their time, because they always on divine timing. And they always on divine timing because they always in alignment. And when you on divine timing, you always on time. You never miss. And whatever is yours never misses you. Okay? So foundations gives you back your decision speed, and that's how you jump. You quantum jump. How you literally use psychobiology to quantum jump into a new tax bracket. That's how your tax bracket changes. If you've made money before, and then you already know the problem really isn't effort, okay? It's regulation, which is necessary. So foundations doesn't add more to your plate. It stabilizes the system you're already running, because one thing I love about foundations is audio based. So there is no such thing. And I had someone, young lady Christy, on the other day, yesterday, and she was saying how much she loved foundations because it is audio. She can listen to it in the car. You can listen to it here. You can listen to it while you're cooking. The women who come to work with me, they're overloaded on watching courses. They don't have time to watch courses in video. They need something that is going to start working now. And when you come into emotional foundations and you implement these things, you play the audio, you actually write down and complete the worksheets and the workbooks that come with it. You reset your nervous system baseline. So if somebody call you and say they got $5 million with your name on it, you're not questioning if you are worthy. You're not questioning if this is real. You trying to see where the cash at. Because what are you fighting for? What are you fighting about? What is the internal war about? The fact that you have not handled your chaos. The fact that you have not rewired your nervous system. Foundations doesn't add more to your plate. It literally stabilizes the system that's already running. And if you are tired, if you are truly tired, because y'all, we do the talking. If you are really tired of repeating the same income every year in a different font, and you know you should be making more money, then it's time for you to click the link in the bio and get access to Emotional Foundations. Because if you're at a level where you want more, then this is the time. And this is going to support you. Okay? So what questions do you have for me? If what I said, anything I said on this live, this surprise live, because I wasn't going to go live today, anything I said on this live directly spoke to you, then you're already qualified. It's time for you to click the link in the bio and get access to Emotional Foundations. You can get it for $333. You can get it with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. Okay? What questions do you have for me? It is my hope that you have come out of this $100,000 psychological spell, with a little bit of glamour magic that they put in there to put you under. It is my hope that you have really come out of that and you understand that that's just not enough. And you have to be very careful what you train yourself on and what you allow yourself to continue to hear over and over again. Because I promise you, that was the theme in the pandemic days. It was, 6 figures, 6 figures, 6 figures. And I remember keep running into people being like, yeah, I just, I feel better. And then people start being like, yeah, I got this job, but it's just not quite 6 figures. Or, yeah, I did this, not quite just 6 figures. You limit yourself. 6 figures could be anywhere between $100,000 and $999,999. Okay? So we need to be moving to mid. We need to be moving to high up, because you need options. You need options. Okay? Any questions before I get ready to get off here? And click the link in the bio to get access. You can get Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay with any of my courses and services. And we have the pattern recognition lab, which I'm going to, if you're on my email list, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about how we're going to be starting that. And make sure you click the link in the bio to sign up for my Substack. over there called the Red Knowledge Tree, where I drop articles, paid articles and free articles. The paid articles is where the juice is, the real strategy in how you can maneuver and get things done. So go ahead over there. I'm not seeing any questions at this time, so I am about to skedaddle and get on out of here. This is going to go on to YouTube, but it's not going to be on YouTube long. So yeah, make sure. Just join your live. I listen to your podcast. Absolutely amazing. Recommend listen. Thank you. I'm so excited about my podcast. So yes, I have a podcast. Let me screenshot that. Let me scroll down because I have a podcast on Substack, and it's called the Emotional Wealth Lab for High Capacity Women. And so, hey love, I messaged you. Okay, Kim, sounds good. So I'm really, really, really excited about it. So go over there and check it out. I dropped my first episode, and I want to say I had last time I checked for my first episode, I had 86 downloads, which is crazy. I don't know what it is now, but I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna look. But that was literally my first one. The podcast episodes will be dropped every single Monday. Super excited about it because I told y'all I'm gonna be less on video, especially TikTok and stuff. I'm gonna be more using a lot more of my voice. This whole nervous system work that I participate in, I do, I'm not new to this, I'm very true to it. There is an element of healing your nervous system that comes with sound, that comes with voice, that comes with all of these things. So yeah, that's why the course is Emotional Foundations is audio, because I did it for my girls, the ones who really need their nervous system together. Because baby, you can't watch another video. You don't got the energy. Let's just keep it real. You don't have the energy for another video. You don't have the energy for sitting down, focusing on a course, taking notes. Girl, you got a notebook full of notes. Pick somebody else to play with. Yes, it's on Substack. You click the link in the bio to get access to my Substack, to sign up for my Substack. You sign up for the free or you can sign up for the paid. I am going to have some paid podcasts at times, sessions, episodes, and I'm going to have some that are free. So yes, going over. Okay. Can this program help me? Girl, Zara, put a one in the comments right quick so I can make sure you're still in here before I answer you. Because I just want to show you. I just want to tell you something. I want to make sure you in here first. Okay. Zara's question was, and I love your name, by the way. She said, can this program help me? I'm taking a leap to creative writing. Zara, my darling, I have built a multi-six-figure business from creative writing. I have used my gift and my gifts to be able to creatively write these formulas that are in these codes, break down these codes that are written in scripture, that are written in science. And this is how I have been able to create success. And this is how my clients have been able to create success, because I have written the vision down and made it plain. Yes, beloved, you definitely. I am a walking example. When I tell you, I had people tell me that I wanted to major in journalism. And they told me I wasn't going to make no money. But I got a psychology degree. And I'm glad that I did, because I'm able to utilize it here as well. But sweetheart, yes. There's a lot of money. And let me tell you something. People are getting so tired of being online. They want to get back to writing. They want to get back to reading. They want to get back to that space. So, baby, when I tell you, you write on time, you on time, sweetheart. So, absolutely, it can support you and help you, because it's going to calm your nervous system so much so, and put you in such a flow state that you will create from your soul. Because guess what? Creating from your soul is how you're going to win. The audio course is Emotional Foundations of Rebirth. It's going to put you in such a flow state that you're going to start creating from your soul. Let me tell you about where we are in the era that we are in. People no longer want to hear about how you're making money. They don't want to know about this new job you got to make money. People are exhausted from that. People want to know. They don't want to know how you're selling your soul. Because if you're working for a corporation, you're selling your soul. You're selling your time, your energy, your attention, okay? And you're doing it cheaply for money, whatever. So people don't want to know how all your hustles and how you're selling your soul. They want to know, are you creating from soul? Because we live in a society that's lying to us. We live in a society where we can't tell the truth from the fake, because there's a lot of AI. So they are looking for the truth. And let me tell you what the World Economic Forum said. Human creativity is an irreplaceable asset. And the reason why doom scrolling is here, the reason why they taking out all the creative programming and stuff out of schools is because they don't want people to have those basic skills so that they can create their own reality. So you are on time. Yes, you can take that. You should take that leap into creative writing, and you should actually start right now because it's a lot of money that's going to be shelled out in 2026. Decide if you're going to get you some. Decide if you have, get yourself together, get your nervous system together to receive it. Okay? So yes, you can. All right? Any other questions? And someone was asking about the audio form of the course. Yes, it is audio based. Every morning I wake up and I'm literally so stuck in this loop of perfection, sadness, and shame. It's time for you to reset your baseline, baby. You need to get emotional foundations. The people are the intrinsic value. Absolutely. We are the value. We are the value. We are the absolute value. Emotional foundations is where it's at. You're so awesome. I'm so grateful to come into this life. Thank you. I appreciate it. All praises to the Most High. And congratulations to those who have grabbed emotional foundations because I'm seeing them come in. Congratulations to you because you're resetting this baseline so that you can dissolve this invisible ceiling. Dissolve this invisible ceiling. There is nothing in between you and the money but yourself. All these ceilings were created. Okay? All these ceilings were created. And all these ceilings can be destroyed. And you can destroy them. Thank you. I wrote 6 books in drafts and have not taken the step to publish or reach out to one of them. Zara, stop playing. Stop playing and stop sitting on that money. Because you're going to be mad at yourself. Do it now. Do it now. Get your nervous system together. And this is the thing. This is what I challenge you to do. If I see your name come across and you have purchased the course of Emotional Foundations, I'm going to email you in 30 days and see if you put out a book. Because if you got 6, there's no reason for you not to put one out. And what I'm trying to understand is, because it takes 48 hours for Amazon to put you out there. And I'm saying this is somebody who has a book on Amazon. So just know, if you get that course and I see your name come across, I'm going to email you and ask you, what's the date on that book release? Because stop sitting on that money. Stop sitting on your gifts. Because you will see somebody else out there doing the very thing that you're supposed to be doing, and you'll be feeling sick. Don't do that to yourself. Okay? All right. How are you promoting your book? Are you promoting your page? It's in my, I wrote it last year. Did I write it last year? Yeah, last year. No. Was it last year? Year before last. I have it in my link in my bio, I believe. I think it's still up there for the double check and see. When people ask me for a recommendation or a book, and they want to know how I know what I know or why this XYZ, I tell them to get that. But let me double check. I think it's in my, if I'm not mistaken, since my computer is right here. Oh no, I actually took it down. But yeah, if people to ask me for it or ask me about it, I could press a button for it to be up there and people get it. Or you can go into Amazon and type in my name, L. Antoinette, and the book is going to pop up. This is called Retiring the Cape. Okay. All right, y'all. I don't see any other questions. Click the link in the bio to get access. Thank you, Lovey. I'll send it to you in Telegram, child. I can't think. I'll send it to you in Telegram, the name and stuff. But I don't know. I've told them I don't know if it's still there. Actually, it's still right here. Hold on. I don't know if they still make it, though. It's called Surreal Appeal. Yeah, that's it. Okay, y'all. So I hope that y'all have an amazing, amazing day. I'm not sure. I may come on live tomorrow. I usually do Wednesdays and Fridays, but I just did a pop out today because I got this download about this 100K ceiling and how people just really are stuck there. And I'm like, 100K is not going to be enough. So quantum jumping into a new tax bracket. I gave you the game on how to do that. So click the link in the bio. if you're ready to reset your baseline so that you can actually receive that money. So when they say, hey, I have this contract for you for 50,000, you're not crashing out behind closed doors. Money is going to be coming in a lot faster and a lot heavier. You're not having to do a lot of work. It's all about you embodying and being in your being. That's what's going to get you paid. Eli, okay, quick question. And you can tell me yes or no. Can I talk about your experience, like what you told me this morning, like about and we were talking about like the importance of energetics and stuff like that. If not, then that's okay. But I wanted to speak on use that as a great example. But just let me know. She said yes, that's fine. Okay, perfect. So she sent me a message this morning. She's my client, and she sent me a message this morning about how a client of hers purchased a product, a service, right? That she offers. And it was like a meditation, a womb meditation, and some things. And that positioned her client, her purchasing that from her implementing that, her literally resetting her own baseline, positioned her to make a five figures in 1 month and then turn around and make 5 figures in another month. I forgot the amounts, but they were like nice amounts. Really, really nice amounts. All because she used Eli's framework, what was given to her. She allowed herself to be in the fullness of her energy and embodiment, and she was able to clock 2 5-figure months back to back. So when I tell you there's a lot of money out here, there's a lot of money out here. If you're not getting any, it's being moved over your head, or you're still working at a level that you've surpassed, and the money can't find you because you're still scrounging around at the lower level. I know there's a lot of it, okay? So if you're wanting to shift that, you're going to have to reset that baseline, baby, so you can start making money. And that's for real, okay? So click the link in the bio to get access to Emotional Foundations. If you have any questions or any concerns, feel free to let me know. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'll be on live tomorrow, but if I do, I'm sure it'll be probably in the morning sometime and not as late. This was just a random pop-up. But all right, y'all. I hope that y'all have an amazing, amazing Thursday. Lord willing, I will see y'all tomorrow. If not, get in my ecosystem so you can catch me on email, catch me on Substack, catch me on Facebook, catch me somewhere, okay? So I will talk to y'all soon. Have an amazing day. Peace, y'all.